All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to another wonderful stream here today. Oh, I just had a burp. Wow. Good time to start right off the bat. Never know when that's going to happen. Anyways, hello. Welcome. I'm Tahoe Anime, your humble art person. I don't know. Still don't know how to open up these. Some days I feel like I do better than others. Today, not so good. Anyways, so we are here today, getting ready to work on some post-processing on the photos that we took on Monday. So if you weren't here for Monday's stream, we actually set up a mini kind of faux photo studio-esque type thing. Very rough, very down and dirty, buying a sheet from Walmart or wherever that I got it from, taking one of my building a little stand to run the blanket up and over onto a table, so you get that little soft gradual incline, kind of runs across the table, swoops up, and then goes up onto I'm trying to think of, because I had to build a bunch of stuff on my own. I put a tripod, that's what I was looking for. It's a tripod that I had a piece of aluminum that I made kind of like an easel style setup for it. Those were the words I was looking for: tripod and easel. So then it gives us, like I said, a nice little backdrop with a nice gentle slope on it, so that we get some decent photos and stuff. Put all that together. Very down and dirty lighting. I had a couple work lights a couple little LED shop lights that I used. Just threw a piece of 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper over them to diffuse them a little bit, get the light to spread out. Yeah, and using a lot of natural light for the process, but that's what we did on Monday. Kind of, like I said, faux in a lot of the stuff for it, tried to get it as close as we can. I mean, this photo right here, that don't look too bad. Like, I'm happy with the color, the quality. We did really good about getting the shadows knocked out. I got a little bit of one over here on the right hand side. But for, like I said, for our faux photo shoot type thing, not bad at all. Our minimal minimal lighting setup that we had. So today we're going to go through and do some post processing on this. We've got Photoshop opened up at the moment. We're going to see about what we can do for color corrections here. Our book and stuff like that looks really good as far as that color. So the backgrounds, I think, is the main thing I want to do. I want to look at trying to, I want to try to get the backgrounds to be as close as possible to each other. We'll see how that goes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, about 16 photos to go through and try to see if we can get kind of all very close to the same, if we can. If not, that's okay too. So we'll just get them as close as possible. Other than that, things that I did yesterday, I did update our assistant of the month. Thora here is up on the docket, so if you would like to join us in stream and watch live, you will gain our channel points here, which you can then redeem towards our treat for Sora. So it's our little special challenge that we have, 30 days to raise 30,000 points. If you subscribe to the channel, you get bonuses on that. Oh, we already got people dropping off there. Wow, we're already at 7%. Dang, that went up really fast. The Dreamer's dropping off points already. You must have had a bunch of points. You had 2,320 points. Either that or somebody else dropped off points too. And it just hasn't come through yet. Bam. That was fun. Oh, and Bryce. Haha, I knew it. I was like, it's gotta be more than that, because that's you can only put in 2,000. So yeah, perfect. Hey, look at that, 7%. And I outdid her. Yep. Yes, you did. I don't know. I think Bryce loves me more than you do, babe. He gave more points. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So that's what we're going to be trying to work on here, is seeing if we can get these 16 photos kind of messed around with a little bit. I'm trying to decide if I want to that. I haven't used Photoshop in a long time. I typically don't use it unless I need something out of it. This thing is annoying. Can you just lock right there? Is that a thing? Okay, good. You stayed there. Dude, there's gotta be got the lasso tool, but this is me drawing. Don't want to. I was hoping to have like 2 points. Plus minus. Probably tools I don't have on here. Brush. Add or generate images. No, don't want that. Okay, here we go. That's the one I want. Polygon lasso tool. I thought so. There's probably some smart, like, smart tools on here or whatever that I haven't used before. Let's see, what else do they have here? Background eraser tool? No, I don't want background eraser. Wait, are you adding anything to the photo or just editing the photo's attributes? I'm just trying to change out the background to see if I desaturate it, if I like it or not. If it's something that I want, or if I want to leave a little bit of color from it. I think the big problem is that not all the backgrounds are created equal when I shot. Just because of general, the cameras and stuff changing a little bit. I'm trying to find an example of it. So like this one's a little bit more yellow. This one's way more blue kind of thing. Lightroom Classic or even the cloud version is much more intuitive for that kind of thing. You can also use the masking tool now to auto select objects. I thought so, but yeah, that worked out much better for me. How about that? Select inverse. Yeah, the Photoshop is just something I knew, and I have, I think I have Lightroom as well, because that's an Adobe thing as well, right? Lightroom just has a bit better flow for that kind of thing. Yeah. It's part of the suite. Okay. I thought so. Yeah, I'm just kind of playing with some of this stuff and seeing what comes of it. I know nothing of Lightroom at all. I have experience using Photoshop over the years. I just haven't played with it much because I've been so much into Illustrator and designing things that I really haven't had to use any type of manipulation stuff on photos. So this is editing a photo in LRC right now. Oh, that's funny. fronts, yeah. Okay. Okay, it's not bad. Yeah, it would probably be about the same thing, Bryce, is what you're saying. The only ones that are going to be a little bit of a kicker, like that's not bad. Just deselect that. Yeah, I like that. That's nice and consistent across there. The only ones that I'm going to have a little bit of trouble with is maybe it's not this one. This one is going to be problematic, but the books have a, don't save that. On a couple of them, maybe it's these ones. Yeah, like this one. They have a little bit of a throw of color from the reflection of the light, I noticed, because if I bring up the other like two books, you can definitely see there's a hint of green being thrown off to the left here. It's very, very slight. Might have to go way in to see it. It's just a little bit, and I'm trying to decide, like, do I want to keep that little piece of personality there, or do I want to get rid of it? Kind of just rumblings in my head. I'll get to that when I get to there, but yeah. Well, let's bring up. Let's do this. We'll do all the fronts first, and then we'll do all the backs. Let me open up. Open Photoshop. Okay, so I have all three of the fronts now. Man, so I was thinking about this. Try the selection tool with object select option. You mean like the one I just did? This guy? You didn't mind, you just did it. So I have a story about this. Because I've been using Photoshop since, gosh, high school, early on. I think this is probably the best that this selection tool has ever worked. I think basically all through high school and partially into college, when this tool was dog shit. Like, it could not figure out the edges of anything. This is impressive that it can find all of these tight, but I also this is an extreme situation where it can definitely tell, hopefully, that that's all separated. But yeah, I used to have to go through and hand adjust everything because it was so bad. He was no bueno on that one with the color throw. It will work amazingly. You should be able to desaturate the gray area easy peasy just by itself. Yeah, I'm hoping so. Well, that's kind of the thing, right? Like, you're experiencing part of this as well while you're working on your project too, is that what part of this personality in this photo do you want to keep? Like, there's also a little bit of blue reflection on the bottom down here too. So does it take away part of how the image feels without that? Does it, if I desaturate this whole thing, it makes the book and stuff pop and homogenizes the whole background and stuff, which is great. But does it lose a little bit of that personality? Do you go back in and just add a little bit of splash of color on something like that? Do you there's a lot of questions that then come up with all of that. It's kind of interesting, weird, artistic integrity part of it comes into place. Yeah. It can be a bit wonky, but with the contrast between the background and the books, it will work great. For the landscape stuff, it is a bit different. Yeah, I can only imagine. Well, that's the thing. That's that is part of the good thing about why studio photography, especially like what I've got set up here, when you can control all of those elements, your tools also then work better for you when you get into this half of putting stuff, corrections and stuff like that. So I kind of like the color throw, but getting rid of it could work. It's one of those things I would spend 20 minutes going back and forth before I decide. Yeah, I was thinking like, even if I have to go in and bow it in a little bit, which I don't mind doing, just to give it a little personality is not a bad thing in my opinion. Where's my layers? There's my layers. He's disappeared. Because then at least my backgrounds would be like, these two look good now. Even though our setting is a little bit different. Okay, we can fix some of that. We have the technology, we can adjust the things. Yeah, the detection on this is much better. Inverse. Yeah, don't tell Vern that I'm in here using Photoshop for correction. She'll probably crucify me. You should be in Lightroom. I know. Check out that photographer's profile I just sent you. She's freaking incredible. A product photography, and add product photography, and you may be able to pull some inspo from. Ooh, okay. That's loud. Oh, I think I've seen her stuff before. Yeah, she does some crazy stuff like the drinks and stuff. Yeah, it's funny because you really can, like, she's doing some crazy stuff where she's literally just working off the countertop in her kitchen, and the results for that are pretty crazy. That's a lot of post-processing though. Okay, so the question is, she's doing a lot of heavy lifting on some of that stuff. Like I just watched one where she's shooting like this egg sandwich type of thing. No, maybe it's a burrito. It's got a blue background, and they're like, oh, the comments were like, let me see the raw photos of it, and the raw photo looks like nothing like the finished product at all. It's sitting on like a cardboard box, and like I get it's a weird thing, right? We live in an age where for the past 20 30 years, with the advent of Photoshop, nothing really that you see is real, right? So even before the advent of AI, we have been doctoring photos for magazines and everything else like that, advertisements. Some of the stuff that they do for like filming advertisements of like Coca-Cola and stuff like that they do, and then they go back and post-process and add more bubbles and do like weird stuff like that. Like, none of it's real, right? But we look at stuff in TV shows and movies, and we look at like Star Wars, how they are using a lot of those same techniques, but also then reintegrating back in puppetry and stuff like that and going away from that all 100% like CGI style stuff. It's kind of a mix between those things. Maybe it is just about a mix of stuff, but more leaning towards on the realistic side or the true. I don't know. I'm trying to figure something out here, and it's not coming into my head. There's this weird thing that's going on right now in the art industry where we like all of the high production stuff, but we want authenticity as well. So when we see crazy shit like the OK Go music videos where they do the entire production and video in one shot and everything is set up, like it's amazing to see all of that stuff and be like, oh my God, none of this is like CG. They might have some little tweaks and touch up kind of things, but that's wild in that way. But we're at this weird balancing stage between authenticity and high production stuff. I don't know where this is gonna fall at some point. I just think of product photography as one of the few you're allowed to be silly and hyper stylized. If I am shooting a model, landscape, etc., I keep it as close to my mind's eye as possible with a little bit of artistic liberty. For example, I may make a photo look more matte, but I try to keep the colors true. Interesting. Yeah, some of the examples of like model photography and stuff that I've seen over the years, behind the scenes that people have shown where they go through and take out, move like a collarbone, like a 1/4 inch down, or get rid of a small like smudge here and there, or make the cheekbones a little bit higher. And like all of a sudden we're starting to, it's no longer about adjusting the photo, it's about making the perfect image in a weird way. And I think some of that stuff, like that's what I was saying, like a lot of what we see in magazines and everything is fake, and it has been for a long time because it's so like the examples that I saw were so wild. Like it's not the same person. That's how much they are manipulating stuff in those magazines and everything like that. Like that's not what that person looks like at all, kind of stuff. So it borders on that weird reality spectrum. Oh, what's the phenomenon called where they use it on all of their YouTube clips and stuff like that, or not the clips, but their cards and stuff like that now. Oh god damn it, what effect is that where it's the uncanny valley weird thing, your eye picks it up and goes, something's weird about that. Is that what it is? Yeah, maybe we have treaded too far down that road, kind of without realizing it. Maybe that's part of the reason why the AI stuff is such a weirdo burrito thing, is because it's really capturing a lot of that. It looks almost real, but you can tell it's not, like it is pretending to be real. Yeah. Well, so that's an anxiety response, right? So our brains tell us something's off about this and to be wary. So that's why it's successful, is because when you can figure out how to utilize anxiety to cause some type of reaction, that's why all those YouTube cards and stuff like that, when you see them on the videos where they have all of that set up like that, is because they want you to be like, why does this look weird? Why is this? I want to explore this now because something's wrong here. That's that capturing of that. It's wild. Okay, so let's do back in here a little bit. Inverse. I think I'm just gonna do, yeah, I'm just doing basic. Don't want to do vibrance. Just doing very, very light changes here. I think a lot of the conversations around art and design and a lot of that stuff is really in a midpoint. Like, we're trying to figure out what the heck all of this stuff means and what we've been doing over the past, because nobody's really thought about it or questioned it or anything like that. We just have done it. Like, yeah, just throw it in Photoshop. It's like, should you? Do we need to? I guess that borderlines on an ethical questions. What the fuck are ethics anyways? I think this is the thing. Every time I try to go down this road to logically understand something or rationalize something or understand something, I always come back to the same thing. Humans are messy. We don't prescribe to anything that we think is rules or anything like that. Like, to the point where we will adversarially pick the opposite size just for shits and giggles on anything. So trying to define all of this stuff, I always come back to that null effect in my head, being like, I can always come up with an idea, and then when I get to looking at the conclusion of that idea, I can always refute that idea, so then it nullifies it. It's just like, well, fucking art is just art then. It's just whatever it is. It's human stuff that just comes out of us. Whatever it is. Wild. Haha, that is why I take the journalistic approach to most of my photography. You have to abide by ethics. You can't alter too drastically or crop out context. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is like, we can set up rules and stuff like that for specific types of genres and things like that, right? Like journalistic photography and stuff like that. That makes sense, that you want it to be accurate and stuff like that. It's like all those news programs. They're not really news because they just make up stories. This is an opinion piece. Well, that's not news. That's an opinion television show. That's not the same thing. I think art falls into that weird category where it can't be defined or limited because it's just so broad, so weird and eclectic and messy and perfect and just all of the adjectives you can think of all at the same time. Like, it's everything all at once, all the time, and yet nothing at the same time. Fucking wild. Yes, I just threw my hands up with that one. Fucking add a little bit of brightness to this one too. I think I only did 15 on the last one, but this one was a little darker. Gets us closer to that. Yeah. I think that gets us real close. I'm looking at the bottom of this to see, because the background up here, I might have to try to lighten that one by itself a little bit, which I should be able to do. So let's go ahead and inverse this. we want to do? Minus. So we should be able to brightness contrast that. Do like a 15 on that. We got a little bit of a harsh line here, but I'll go in and fix that here in a second. Just double checking to see if I'm semi-close here. Yeah, I could probably use a little bit more lightness over on that top right-hand corner there. So, I might have to do part of this by hand. Where is my tools? I want the dodge tool. Needs a little bit more. A modern way of thinking about photography that I do like is this. Shooting is setting the stage, capturing emotion, editing is adding emotion. That makes sense. To me, that is a great way to look at it if you are doing artistic photography. Yeah, maybe that's the thing is there are certain types of artistic endeavors that are maybe, okay, coming up with more. Maybe it falls on that spectrum. Maybe everything falls on a weird spectrum of all of that stuff where there's artistic stuff and then there's production side or product side of things, or I don't even know what the scale would be. Something along those lines. My brain is firing and putting it together, but slowly though. I think, let's see, shooting is setting the stage, capturing a moment, editing is adding emotion. It's interesting because there's like moments where shooting and capturing that moment is the high priority and the editing is the low priority. And there are some times when shooting and setting and capturing a moment is low priority and editing is the high priority. And that's where the spectrum falls on, is somewhere, and I think it depends on what your intent then is, maybe. Definitely depends on the type of photography. Yeah. Well, the other part that I always trip on is like trying to define everything doesn't work. It typically either gets changed at some point or gets refuted. So like everything has to have slightly loosey-goosey little bits of lots of bits of stuff. That's kind of the way I feel about the world and in a lot of spaces, is trying to find that balance in between for myself is where I try to land on most things. Try not to go to the extremes one way or another, because it ends up being a shit show in the long run kind of thing. You get brief profits off of that, but it doesn't last. It's just momentary, kind of slop essentially. But yeah, I think that's the same. I run into the problem trying to define art and photography and creative expressions in a lot of ways, and I always just come back to the idea of just go and do cool shit. You know what I mean? But even that definition is rough because things that you think are cool shit might be hurtful to others as well. Art is wild. Art is wild. Creative expressions. Okay. Come back over here. I think I just so badly want people just to be able to be happy, much like your sister wants everybody to be happy, but that is a tall order to solve for one person. Shit, half the times we can't even solve it for ourselves. Nope. Healing clone patterns. There we go. Let's put this above the star. Let's put the burn tool with it. Put the sponge tool with it. Let's put the blur tool with it. Sharpen and smudge. Just put all those together for the moment. Tired of having to go around and find out where it's at. Okay, there we go. Do a higher exposure on this. Shadows? There we go. Looking better, but it's a little far. Yeah, I want to keep part of that. So 80 something was too much. Let's go back. Let's go to 70. This is where I'm going to get into trouble, though, is because I'm going to try to make this too perfect, and it's going to bite me in the butt is what's going to happen. I'm going to be like, I got to make these backgrounds all look exactly the same. Okay. Feel better about that. I'm literally just making micro adjustments to some of the shadows. Yeah, that's looking better. Yeah, I think we're pretty close here. Sweet. Let's see. Will this save as? Okay, cool. Yeah, let's put that in that folder. Save this. Same. Also, I don't know if you know this or not, Bryce, but should I be working with these? Because they're set as RGB right now. Should I put those in CMYK? I'm not printing these out. No, RGB is fine because it's just going to go online and used for promotional materials. Do I need... If you're not printing, RGB is fine. Yeah, it's just going to be online stuff that I know of at the moment. I'm not going to do any prints of this. Generative upscaling? Oh, you can upscale them too? Dang. You could do that in here now. So interesting. format it to the display. The display is so bright. Color settings. Nope. Okay. Convert to profile. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it in RGB for now. Looks like I can convert over to CMYK fairly easily if I need to. I would just make sure your monitor screen is calibrated for editing. Even if this is just a simple switch on the system settings, it should be. Let's see what our export settings look like. That's fine. Color profile. Yeah, if I do the convert to RGB, it should give it more. It gives it a little bit more juice. I think we have way more settings and options that we can do nowadays. Desktop, let me double check this export real quick. It'll be in your OS system settings. You can go to display, and Mac should have a few options for photo editing. My display should be, so hopefully it doesn't crash everything. Display, because I have my MSI display on my right hand side, which that's what OBS and stuff on. I don't have to worry about that. I have my studio display. What am I looking at for the displays? The preset? Is that what you're saying? Are we looking at the advanced settings? It's in your OS system settings. You can go to display, and Mac should have a few options for photo editing. Oh, I see. Like digital cinema, design and print, photography, internet. Gotcha. I've got it set to Apple Display P3 600 nits currently. Preset is fine. Advanced is if you have one of those custom devices for calibrating. I think since I do have the Apple monitor, allow your pointer keyboard any. Oh no, that's for something different. The advanced settings. Never mind. Do D65 for photo editing. Let me look at it. Oh, P3 D65? Photography or digital camera? Or digital cinema? Probably photography, huh? Yeah. Because I have two of those settings here. Probably photography. That did some weird stuff to my... Okay, yeah. It took my... I'm surprised it's not angry at me for doing that. Yeah, it definitely dimmed it down a whole bunch. Okay, we'll try that and see how it goes. Make sure it's not angry at me. Okay, so I got this exported. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so the exports look fine. Let's play with this a little bit here. Let's do this again. we get to do a little bit of artistic license here. Why do they not have the polygon lasso tool here? And the magnetic. Why don't they just have all the tools available? Just give me all the tools. Ooh. Oh, okay. So what I just did mess up stuff. I'm going to try to reset this because you guys aren't seeing anything at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Just letting you know it may or may not crash. Okay. No, we're good. We made it. Right before our break. All right, peoples, we've got 30 seconds. Well, we got 10 seconds to our first ad break. So let's go ahead and swap over and see if our assistant is outside. Since we have a new assistant today. So, no, she's not out there, but we're going to take our... Oh, there it goes. There's a 3-minute break. She's out there somewhere. I don't know where, but she is out there somewhere. I got the double camera system up for just find her. So if she walks by, we'll know. It dims, takes away any color tone, warm, cold, and gives you a better idea of true white balance. It is not perfect. You need a calibration tool for that, but it is much closer. I notice more consistency when viewing my photos on different devices and much better color quality when I print. Gotcha. Yeah, that's one of those things that I haven't played with very much is calibrating my screen for that type of stuff. I should, but I'm so into like just go that I haven't played around with it much. That's on me. Okay, we got a couple minutes here. I'm gonna go grab something to drink and then I will be right back. Sora doesn't like it when I go out and look for her and find her in her little hiding spot. By the way, your music stopped. Oh no, that's the one that usually crashes everything. I see that. I'm gonna go and quit Spotify real quick. I wonder if I reopen it. Fuck. This one may crash it. Anytime I play with this one, Spotify for